Hello, this is Louis Almeida. Today is Wednesday, November 6th, the day after the vote for presidency and the Senate and the House. The voting. I'm so disappointed. I don't know where to begin. Some of you are elated if you voted for Trump, and those who voted for Harris, I found that are devastated. Now, it's important that we understand our emotions and how we are triggered. I felt these emotions. I felt pain. I felt anger. I felt hate. Because Trump, to me, represented everything wrong or negative about humanity or human nature. Trump promoted the idea of fear of the economy. Also the idea of immigrations, that immigrants are the problem in our society. So Trump ran on a negative campaign. And unfortunately, most of the people are very receptive to this because their life is not going very well. And so human nature has a tendency to blame society rather than looking at really what is going on. And so this is very unfortunate. Kamala Harris did not win. She had made a lot of promises. It sounded very wonderful what she was wanting to do for society. Better jobs, better wages, better health care, more education, reduce the cost of prescription drugs, and so many other things that she was advocating. And yet Trump and his followers and supporters decided to go with Trump. And Trump, again, his whole campaign was stressed on fear and immigration. And this is what most people are identified with. The cost of living is so high, the rent, the food, cost of housing, healthcare, prescription drugs. All this is a problem. And we believe that the president and the Democratic Party or the Republican Party can change all this. Well, unfortunately, potentially they can. But basically there are other forces that are in play that we don't see. The money that is put into these campaigns that is called dark money. But corporate and capitalism without a social network is devastating to the American people. I found that the job outsourcing, we buy things from India, from China, from other parts of the world that have low-paying jobs. So consequently, manufacturers are having these countries produce or manufacture their products, and we buy them because they're so cheap. The breakup of unions has been going on for the last 30 years. And look at today, very few union jobs, and our wages are so low. Why? Because they cannot keep up with inflation. And the idea of taxes, lowering the taxes for the rich. Why do they need to lower the taxes? For God's sakes, it makes their billions and billions of dollars. Why do they need more billions? And the idea if a tutor starts to remove Social Security or Medicare and the care for children. Why? Because there's something about money that the rich, we all want money, but there are individuals that cannot have enough. No matter if you're a billionaire, you want more billions. There's never enough. So Spinoza, his ethics, explains about human nature. And human nature is complex in many ways, but in Spinoza's ethics, Spinoza explains how we can rise above our emotional center and our confused mental thinking and come to clarity and certainty. But it takes effort. It takes time. I was fortunate when I met my teacher when I was 30 years old. And that was over 50 years ago. I'm 83 now. And so I've been studying Spinoza for over 50 years. And Gurdjieff, the book In Search of the Miraculous, is part of my increased power of understanding. And I have been able to look at my emotions, and that's so important, to begin to look at your emotions. But how? I use an idea. I start using a journal. I write the events that trigger my emotions. The events, and there may be stuck in traffic, a lost job, a divorce, a new job. You graduate from college or high school, great emotions of happiness. But that kind of happiness doesn't last. You might get a new car, a new house, or take a trip. That is nice. That's an increase of happiness, yes, but it doesn't last. Spinoza talks about permanent happiness. And how is that possible? Permanent happiness can only come from the mind's understanding. See, the brain is not the mind. The mind is an intangible thinking thing. And so the brain is a storehouse of information. So what we want to do is increase the activity of our mind. The mind is an idea, a thinking thing. The first thing its identity with, it has an identity, a connection with the body. So the mind and body work as one. I know that's a little crazy, a little complex, but stick with me. The idea of Spinoza is to increase the power of your understanding. I remember when I was in elementary, I think that's the first or second grade, I was trying to understand multiplications 4 times 4. I couldn't get it. And then suddenly, after time and effort, I got the idea. The idea is 4 times 4 is 16. Oh, there was a light in the mind. I affirmed that I understand. Affirmation, I know I understand it now. And so multiplications, I could multiply other numbers, which was amazing. The idea of learning, understanding. And this is what Spinoza advocates, is you can learn and understand. And when you learn and understand, there is a feeling of power, mental power, and emotional power. So when the mind is confused, it has a decrease of power. As Spinoza would say, a decrease of perfection. Perfection to Spinoza is reality. They're synonymous, perfection and reality. So when you're in pain, you have less perfection and you have less power to deal with reality. So I had a problem with multiplications and I was in pain. But as I began to understand, my power increased and I was in pleasure. So we're subjected to pain, pleasure, love and hate, anger, and ambition, and envy, and desire. These emotions are important to understand. So the more you understand about your emotions, the more power you have. Because we want to disassociate the emotion with what we believe is the cause of our emotion. Again, that's difficult to comprehend. But in time, you might listen to this over and over again. So Spinoza has given me the power to understand what is going on in my nature. So when I heard about Trump becoming president, I was devastated. I was angry. So I began to journal. I feel anger. I feel pain. And as I begin to understand anger, what's the definition of anger? Anger is desire, whereby through hatred we are induced to remove or destroy the object of our hate. So in anger, there's desire and hate. So what is hate? Hate is a feeling of hate. The definition: hate is pain accompanied by the idea of an external cause. So again, pain or hate is pain accompanied by the idea of something as a cause of our pain. So what is pain? Again, pain is a decrease of perfection or decrease of power. What it means by when I have a pain, I have a decrease of power, meaning I don't have the power to deal with the problem. I didn't have enough power to understand what happened. How did Trump become president? How did it happen? How did he become, who voted for him? Well, there's a lot of people who did, obviously. And again, I wrote down, I felt pain, hate, and anger. And I began to look at these emotions and not think of Trump, but look at my emotions. And that's the key. Look at your emotions and not look at the thing what you think that caused your emotions. As you begin to look at your emotions, you begin to strengthen your mind. And this is an activity of the mind. And we want to awaken the mind to begin to see. Reason and intuition are required for this work. Reason helps us see what is in front of us, how to deal with problems, put in the energy to journal the events that trigger our emotions. And intuition begins to see the significance of it. And intuition helps us activate the higher thinking mind. There's a lower thinking mind that follows hearsay and has experiences, and that's the knowledge. But we don't understand that information. So reason gives us more of an intellectual effort to understand what is going on. And intuition helps us see the largeness of the importance of looking at oneself, because it's in the emotions do we elevate ourselves and increase our state of well-being. So this is power. So I hope to listen to you. I hope to hear from you. I can be reached. Just follow my website. You'll see below. And I have Patreon. On Patreon, there are over 60 videos that you have access to. It's only $5 a month. You can access my books. Go on my website and scroll down and hit the resource tab and scroll down. You'll see the different books that I recommend, and it takes you directly to Amazon.com. And some of these books you can find at discounts. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.